So basically, if you want to be in a position where you're always okay, no matter what life is doing to you, you've got to realize that you're the one that has all the power. So our first step is doing away with this illusion and with this belief that life is, in fact, actually doing anything to you. And it's to put yourself back into the driver's seat and to realize that everything that's happening in your life, you are empowered by. And you are empowered with the choice and with the option of how you respond, how you perceive things, how you interpret things, and what you make things mean. So in short, you are the creator of your reality, and you get to decide the impact that life has on you. And as we will see, as we'll explore and unpack, you also have a choice or have an impact on the kind of phenomena that life is presenting you with and that life is reflecting to you. But the first step is do away with this notion that life is random and out of control, and do away with this notion and this belief that you can fix your life by fixing the environment outside of you. Basically, you need to re-empower yourself by realizing and really acknowledging and accepting that you can't change anyone else. You can't fix your life by furiously cleaning over and over again the reflection in the mirror. You've got to look at what is being reflected in the mirror. You empower yourself by realizing that you can't change anyone. The thing that you do have control over and the thing that you can change is you. And that's the key to happiness. That's the key to joy. That's the key to success. That's the key to peace, is realizing that it's not out there. And you can't change necessarily, not in the way that you think, what's out there. What you can change is you. And there's deep peace and deep self-empowerment in that. So that's the ingredient that we're going to be working with. It's not trying to change everything and everyone else. It's changing how you respond, how you perceive, how you react, and the effect and the impact that life has on you. So basically, everything in life is happening for one of three reasons, or there are three categories of stuff that's happening in life. And the first category is, it's just life happening. This is the stuff that's outside of your control. This is what other people are doing, what other people are thinking, perhaps the particulars of the environment that you find yourself in, what other people are projecting, what other people are emanating out into their environmental body. These are all things that are outside of your control. You can't control other people's moods. You can't force people to look at things or to see things or to feel things in a certain way. These things are out of your control. And so some of the phenomena of your life, and for some of you, a lot of the phenomena that you will be experiencing in your life is just the phenomena and the stuff of other people. It's the phenomena and the stuff of things that are outside of your control, and that basically, when we boil it down, are none of your business. But the way to peacefully and joyfully approach and engage with those things that are none of your business is to adopt the right attitude. And adopting the right attitude is a process of self-development and some level of self-mastery and a deep level of self-introspection and absolutely self-control. So it's very, very easy to get drawn into other people's realities. If someone else is having a bad day or they're in a bad mood, if they snap at you or they project at you or they tell you off, or maybe they even get physically violent with you or have a physical response or reaction to you, if you react and you take it personally, you make it mean something, or you respond to it in some kind of way that makes it your business, then you very, very quickly get dragged into whatever it is that's going on for them. If they're cranky and they snap at you in their crankiness, and as a response to their crankiness, you become cranky, even though a moment ago you were having a good day, then you've just been dragged down into their reality. But it's not because they did it to you. Yes, they may have been cranky, and yes, they may have snapped at you. But the thing that you've got to realize in this kind of situation is that you chose how you were going to respond. You chose to get cranky in response. And most people are living life in this way. Their responses to life are automatic. In fact, rather than being responses to life, most people are just reacting to life. They're met with phenomena, so they're met with other people's realities or other people's expectations, other people's ideas, other people's emotions, other people's responses and reactions to life, and then they react automatically to that. But what this does is it just causes everyone to be kind of smashing around in their life, being jarred and constantly impacted by circumstances that are actually nothing to do with them. So there's a physical environment, there's an emotional environment, there's a mental environment, there's a psychological environment, and there's a spiritual environment. And everyone is kind of locked into their own reality and their own version of life, of their experience, their versions and their realities, physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and spiritually. And most people have no self-control, and they're just projecting this reality out onto the outside world, into their environment, and they're kind of evoking responses from their environment and from other people based on what their internal reality is in that moment. Now, if you're a victim to life, and you can choose to be a victim to life if you want to be, but then it just means that nothing is under your control, because the one thing that is under your control, which is you're choosing not to take responsibility for. So if you're in victim consciousness and you're not taking responsibility for yourself, for your life, for your reality and your reactions, then you're going to be constantly bombarded by other people's realities and other people's experiences and whatever it is that they're projecting at you, or they're projecting onto you, or they're expecting from you. You're going to be in that mode where you're reacting to life. You're reacting to the stuff and the phenomena and the experiences of life, going back and forth, being a victim to circumstances and to other people, and getting dragged down into other people's realities because you're not consciously putting yourself in the driver's seat, and you're not consciously and deliberately choosing to respond to life. Instead of consciously and deliberately choosing to respond to life, you're just reacting to the phenomena of life. So the first category that we're looking at here is just the stuff that actually has nothing to do with you and is none of your business. Other people's realities, other people's experiences, other people's moods, other people's projections and ideas are actually none of your business. They've actually got nothing to do with you, even if they seem to be in response to something that you are doing. In that instance, you need to have a good hard look at yourself and look at what you're doing that is perhaps triggering certain responses in other people. But when it boils down to it, there's nothing you can do about what other people are experiencing or what they're going through. All you can do is maintain your own peace and your own experience of equanimity by choosing how you're going to bring yourself, how you're going to respond, and how you're going to be. Choosing which realities you're going to buy into and that you're going to adopt as being a part of your reality. If there's negativity in the environment around you, if there's negativity being projected at you, what you need to do, instead of just reacting, you need to be conscious and present enough with yourself that you catch the reaction before you send it out from you. So you're not just getting caught up in this projection back and forth, but you're choosing consciously and deliberately how you bring yourself. So if someone's cranky or someone's having a hard day and they try to drag you into that, or they project that at you, or they try to make it your business, it is absolutely within your rights and your power, because you only actually have power over yourself. So it's absolutely within your rights and your power not to try and change them or to fix them. Let them do what they're doing. Whatever, that's up to them. That's for them to decide and for them to figure out. But what you can do is you can change yourself. You can have control and mastery over yourself. So So instead of just automatically reacting and getting engaged with and being dragged into other people's realities, you have permission and you have the ability to take a breath. Okay, come back to yourself and check in with yourself. Is this something that I want to engage with? Is this something that I actually want to invite into my reality? Do I want to be cranky for the rest of the day? Do I want to take things personally? Even if it means that some part of you might be satisfied by being right or placing the blame on someone else. What's more important to you? Your peace, your experience, or whatever the reaction or the response is that you suppose you could get from the environment outside of you. And you have to be making that decision in every moment, basically. But the only way that you can be consciously wielding that power and making those decisions is if you kind of have a sense of who you are and what your reality is, and where you begin, where you end, and where other people begin and other people end. So this means having a certain level of self-insight and self-reflection and self-introspection. So you have the ability to go, okay, this is what's happening around me. Is this mine? Or is this just something that has nothing to do with me? Is this something that I want to adopt and I want to engage with and I want to take on as my own? Or do I want to choose something else for myself? And you've got to take that breath, take that moment, reflect a little bit. And this is a really important part of this, is that self-introspection and that self-reflection, and choose. Are you going to keep reacting to life? Are you going to keep being a victim to life, which most people are? Most people are victims to life, and that's why they think that life is doing things to them, but we're breaking free of that illusion. Life isn't doing anything to you. You get to choose which parts of life you partake of. So that's our first step, is empowering ourselves to consciously and deliberately choose how we respond and which parts of life we respond to and we allow to be a part of our reality. Most things that are happening out there are none of your business, and they have nothing to do with you. And that's going to relieve you of a great deal of the strife and the pain and the anguish that you experience. Has it actually got anything to do with you? Is there anything that's required of you in that moment? Or do you choose to consciously and deliberately respond in a way that promotes or pronounces or elongates or contributes to your internal state of peace, harmony, equanimity, joy, or whatever it is that you actually want to be choosing for yourself in that moment? So rather than reacting to the environment outside of you, go deep within and make a conscious choice about what it is that you want to be bringing to every situation and that you want to be experiencing and partaking of in every situation. Do you want to get caught up in the cranky environment? Do you want to get caught up in a back and forth projection game? Do you want to get caught up in desperately trying to change or alter those things that are actually outside of your control? Or do you just want to be content with being present with yourself and having mastery over the thing that you can actually change, choosing to consciously and deliberately partake of and participate in life? And that's our first step. That's our first category. Is it actually anything to do with you? If it's not, it's none of your business, and it's up to you. Choose how you respond, choose how you bring yourself, and play around with that and have the experience of being okay even in shitty situations, not because the shitty situation went away, but because you chose to respond to it in a different kind of way. You chose to introduce a different ingredient, or you chose to have a version of reality that was unique to you, that was more about love. And that brings us to our second point. Some of the phenomena, a lot of the phenomena that you experience in life is actually just a reaction or a response to what you are putting out. So for every action, there is a reaction. For everything that you do, there is a response. And this is the law of karma, basically. It's the law of choice and consequence. For everything that you do, life will meet you with something in return. For everything that you output, life will send something back to you. And the point of this process is not to punish you. The point of this process, and the reason that this happens, is because life seeks to evolve. And as evolving creatures, we seek to evolve as well. So life is kind of geared towards us having insights, having realizations, developing compassion, developing love, looking for and finding new ways to bring ourselves to life. And the best way for us to do that is to get immediate, or sometimes prolonged. Sometimes it's not immediate. Sometimes what life is presenting to you is a response to something that you set in motion 5 years ago, or even a response to something that you set in motion in another life or in another time when you start working at soul level. But the best way for life to give us feedback about self-improvement and self-development and what's actually going on for us and how to become the masters of our reality is to give us real-time feedback from the environment. So for every output, there is a response. You are met with something. If you have a violent emotional reaction and you project that out at someone, or you attempt to take that out on someone, then they are going to have an emotional reaction in response. And that energy is going to come back to you. And you're going to be hit with that. And in those situations, it doesn't serve you to play victim. Because if you play victim, then you're going to think that that person is doing that to you and that they are haphazardly or randomly sending that energy to you. And you're going to get all justified in thinking that you're right and they're wrong and you have to prove them wrong. And you're just going to become a victim to the circumstance and you're going to spiral into it and you're just going to have to play it out. And you're going to enact it and everyone's going to end up miserable. So that's not the way to respond to those situations. You've got to remember that you're not a victim to circumstances and that that's your opportunity and that's your cue to take a deep breath and to have a look within. Okay, this is the feedback that I'm getting from my environment. This is the energetic or the physical or the mental or the emotional response that I'm getting from my environment. First step, remember, is that anything to do with me? If it's not, just dismiss it. If you get, yeah, that is actually something to do with you, then you go, ooh, okay, what am I outputting that is causing this reaction or evoking this response from my environment? What am I projecting out from me? What am I sending out? And the things that you're sending out can be physical things. So it's like if you hit someone, they're going to rebound. There's going to be a physical reaction. And that's pretty obvious. It's like, okay, well, I caused that. I did that. I had a violent physical outburst, and that's the reaction, and that's the response to that. If you have an emotional outburst or an emotional projection, you emotionally project out into your environment, then other people and circumstances are going, well, mostly other people are going to have an emotional reaction or an emotional response to what you're doing. So if others around you are having an emotional response or an emotional reaction to you, you've got to go, okay, what am I doing? What am I sending out that is causing them to respond or to emotionally react in that way? Sometimes it's just going to be a mental thing. You might have a lot going on mentally, and you need to understand that everything is energy. So your emotional output, your mental outputs, and your psychological and your spiritual output is energy. It's energetic. But energetic things are just as real as physical things. You might not be able to see them, taste them, touch them, hear them, but you'll feel them. And if you feel something, be it emotionally or mentally or spiritually, it's because it's of energy and it's real. So if you've got a lot going on in your mental body, and people think that their thoughts have no effect, but that is not true. If you walk into a room that's filled with thoughts of doom and gloom, then that environment, if you let yourself, if you're not being the conscious creator of your reality in the way that I'm talking about, can very quickly drag you down into it. If someone's having violent mental thoughts about something, you're going to be impacted by that, or you're going to feel that, or you're going to pick up on that, because it's energy that they're sending out from themselves. And it's the same with you. If you are really stressed, or you're really anxious, or you've got a lot going on in your mental environment, and you take that with you and you project it out from you into the external environment, then other people are going to pick up on that. They're going to feel that, and they're going to begin responding to that. So if you're feeling a lot of mental activity or mental anguish or stress or anxiety or just mental fullness or really weird mental phenomena going around you, that is also a sign and an opportunity for you to go within and go, first of all, does this have anything to do with me? Or is it just the mental environment that you happen to find yourself in? It has nothing to do with you. Just don't partake. Choose to flood your mind with your own reality and your own choices, your own mental phenomena, your own mental stuff that's more about peace or love or equanimity or calm assurance or whatever it is that you're choosing instead of what exists in the environment. So it's always our first step. But if you go, that does actually have something to do with me, that's life reflecting back to me what I am outputting for the purposes of me seeing what's going on, for the purposes of my learning and my growth and my development. Life's like a mirror. It's always reflecting back to you so that you can see yourself, so you can get a really clear reflection and understanding of what's going on for you internally, and it becomes obvious because it's externalized and you can see it or you can feel it or it's reflected to you in other people. So if it is something to do with you, then just change your thinking. Empower yourself by going, well, why am I mentally suffering, or why am I mentally creating that? And what can I create for myself instead? And then you flood your mind with the frequency of whatever that is. And when you do that, if you flood an anxious mind with calm assurance, and you really flood your mind with this frequency and you really let yourself feel it, then what you start doing is you start projecting that energy out into your environment. So instead of projecting out fear or negativity or certain frequencies, mental frequencies, emotional frequencies, or physical frequencies that result in negative phenomena and negative feedback, if you're projecting and you're sending out frequencies that are of love and are of good things, then life changes. Not because you changed life, but because you changed yourself. Life starts reflecting back to you what it is that you are outputting and you are sending into the environment. So if you're being constantly met with negativity, if you have introspection and you dive deep within and you realize that you're actually projecting negativity out onto the world, and then you make a deliberate effort to change what you are projecting out onto and into the world, and you start, instead of projecting negativity, you start projecting something that's of love and that is uplifting, then give it a bit of time. And sometimes it's immediate, sometimes the feedback is immediate, and I encourage you to play around with that. But if it's not immediate, then give it a bit of time. Keep making your new choice. Keep choosing your new reality. Keep projecting that new positive energy out into the world, and then life will change, because life will have less of a reason for your own personal growth and insight to reflect negativity back to you. If you aren't projecting out anything that is negative, then life goes, there's no need to project negativity at you, because there's nothing that you're going to learn through the experience. It's not going to benefit you in any particular kind of way. But for as long as having negativity projected back to you is going to benefit you, because you're going to learn through it, you're going to grow through it, or you're going to develop compassion, or there's something that you don't understand, then you're going to keep getting those negative reflections from life. But if you're projecting out good stuff, and you're at peace and you're experiencing equanimity and you are calm and you are in a state of compassion and understanding, then life starts to give you experiences that reflect your inner state. And this is a really important point. We are all creating our own reality. We are all getting from life what we are projecting out at life. And again, some of this feedback might be immediate, but for some things that you've been projecting out for a really long time, or that you've caused a lot of harm by projecting out, they're just going to take a little bit more time. So you might be met with the consequences of choices or the reaction to something that you set in motion a long time ago or over a prolonged period of time. And you might be met with that again and again. And it's really important in these situations that you don't despair and that you don't lose hope and that you don't give in and that you don't start going back into victim consciousness. Because if you do, you're just re-projecting that negative thing back out into the environment. The thing that you need to be doing in those situations is taking your nice big deep breath and reminding yourself that, okay, this is just the result of energy that I have outputted. This is my opportunity to reclaim that energy, to refine and transform that energy by continuing to make my new choice. And I know that life isn't a cruel mistress who is just trying to punish me. And I know that if I keep making my new choice, if I keep outputting this new energy, eventually that's what I'm going to be met with. So every situation, be it negative or positive, but every negative situation is an opportunity for you to learn. It's an opportunity for you to renew your choice. It's an opportunity for you to make a new choice. It's an opportunity for you to have deep introspection and to take a deep dive into yourself and to discover what it is that you're doing, what it is that you believe in, what it is that you're projecting out. And it's an opportunity for you to empower yourself to change your reality, to change your experience, to output new information, to put new data into the system so that you're fed back different experiences. And again, some things are immediate, but some things take time, and that's something that is under your control. That's something that you do have the power to do. Again, you can't change how other people are reacting to you, but what you can change is the information that you are outputting that is causing people to have certain or particular reactions, and you can change your response to their reaction. So rather than, again, getting caught up in that back and forth banter that just leaves everyone feeling like a victim, even if you output something negative because you forgot in that moment and there's a negative reaction from the environment, you don't have to negatively react again. You can at any point take your nice big deep breath, reflect and ponder, and then consciously and deliberately choose how you're going to respond. And then that brings us to our third category. So we've got the stuff that has nothing to do with you, and you just send it back, you don't react to it. We've got the stuff that is the reaction to what you are outputting. So that's the karmic thing, that's choice and consequence, that's action and reaction. And then we've got the third category, which is your layers or your lenses of illusion. So we all live in the same world, but we all live in a very, very, very different and unique version of the world. Everyone has their unique take and their unique perception. We could all be having the exact same experience, witnessing the exact same phenomena, being treated in the exact same way, but our interpretation of that experience is going to be completely unique to all of us. We all have unique filters and lenses that we are perceiving life through. Though it seems that we all share the same stage, we've all been given a different script. We're all being inputted the same data, perhaps. But how that data is received is totally dependent on the software. It's like we all have the same hardware, but the software programs that we're all running are all completely unique, and they're all specialized to all of us. And that's intentional because we all have a unique journey that we've been on, and we have a unique journey that we are embarking on. We all have unique beliefs about ourselves, about life, and about other people. We all have unique ways of looking at something, unique bents, unique minds, unique emotional bodies. We have these ways of perceiving and of engaging with life that are unique to us and that are specific and that are specifically designed and set up for our unique growth, our unique insight, our unique evolution. We're not all treading the same path. We can't all tread the same path. We're all so different. So the path of evolution and insight and gaining wisdom is going to be different for each of us. But ultimately, at the core of it all, is truth. So there's the truth of life itself, and the truth of life itself is the truth of what life actually is. It's the truth of who and what we all are, because when you do away with the lenses, when you do away with the layers of illusion and of maya that cause us to see life in a way that is unique to us, you get down to the crux of what life actually is. And what life actually is it's God stuff. It's God stuff in motion. When you get down to the truth of who and what we are not our personalities. We are not our minds. We are not even our physical bodies. We are not our perceptions. We are not our beliefs. We are not what we believe ourselves to be. And life is not what we believe life to be. We are of God stuff as well. We are life in motion. There is like this one essence that is life itself that runs through all things. Even the uniqueness of you as a soul is a flavored version of life itself. And even when you move beyond the realm and the reality of the soul, you start to delve into this experience of complete unity consciousness and complete oneness with all that is. And that complete unity consciousness, that life itself, that God stuff, is the ultimate truth of what is. And then everything else is in some way or in some form illusion. And we're all locked into these illusionary realities that are unique to us. And some of that is very intentional so that life can explore along particular lines of development and can have unique perceptions and experiences of life from as many different angles as possible. But some of it, a lot of it is just self-inflicted as well. We all carry beliefs about life, about ourselves, and about other people. If you believe that all people are scoundrels, then you place a filter or a lens over yourself that causes you to perceive life and to perceive other people in that way. So basically what you believe and what you expect is what you're going to keep getting back from life, because that life's energy is going to be filtered to you through those lenses that you have in place. So if you believe that all humans are scoundrels, even if you meet a really, really lovely human, or you meet an abundance, a whole group of really, really lovely people, because of that belief that you have in place, you're still going to be looking for how these people or how that person is a scoundrel. And you're going to convince yourself that that person is a scoundrel. You're going to distort some meaning or something that they do, and you're going to run it through your filters and through your lenses, and you're going to convince yourself of whatever it is that you want to convince yourself of. If you have a really negative outlook on life, even when life is going really, really well, and we all know these people, right? Even when life is going really, really well and things are really good and there's a lot of love around, because of their negative lenses and their negative way of looking at things, they see and they focus on and they emphasize those parts that are negative. So if you believe that life is suffering, you're never going to choose joy as a state of being. And that's the thing here. That's the thing that's really important. All of these lenses are choices. They're choices that we're making. We're choosing to perceive life and to perceive ourselves and to perceive other people in a certain way. We're choosing the lenses that we place over life. We are putting ourselves in a box of illusion, and we are deluding ourselves with our internal beliefs. So if you believe that the body is broken and that life always ends in disease and suffering, then because that is your belief, and then that's our second thing as well, that's what you're projecting out onto life and onto the world, then that's what you're going to keep getting from life, or that's what you're going to keep seeing from life, even when life is trying to prove something else to you. So life, physical matter, physical life, is responding to what we are energetically outputting and what we energetically believe and what we energetically flavor life with. Whatever it is that you believe, that's what you're going to get. If you believe that your body is bad or that you're prone to some state of being like obesity, if you really believe that, then you're constantly flooding your physical body with that belief. And then life goes, well, the way to empower you to learn is by giving you what it is that you're expecting. So like, your universe is benevolent and it's responding to what you're outputting, and it's giving you what you expect or what you want or what you're asking of life. So if you're flooding your body with something constantly, then the body goes, I'm getting told to manifest that thing. That's the energy that it's receiving from you, so that's what it's building itself out of. Whereas if you're constantly flooding your body with beliefs in vitality and health and wholeness and vibrancy, if you're constantly flooding your system and flooding your cells with the message of health, then your cells are going to go, we're getting the message of health, that's what we're being told to produce, and then that's what you're going to produce. And life itself is going to go, here is one human creature that has learnt the lesson of health and has learnt that to suffer is a choice. So there's no need for her or him to continue to suffer. Let's give them a different experience. Let's give them the experience of health and vitality, because that's what they're outputting, that's what they're choosing, that's what they're believing, that's the energy that they're sending out, and that's the reality that they're buying into. That's what they're choosing to do with their free will. And that's the thing, you have free will here. So whatever it is that you're choosing with your free will, you're going to be creating. And so this third step is all about doing away with the illusions and cracking through to the truth. What is actually true? What is actually real versus what I expect to be real? What is it versus what it is that I believe about life? So this is another step where you're taking your nice big deep breath and you're searching deep within and you're asking yourself, what are your beliefs about life? What are your expectations of life? What are the filters or the lenses that you're placing over your eyes so that you're constantly perceiving life to be a certain way? And then you've got to play with it and you've got to take a risk and you've got to go, well, what if I'm wrong? What if I just do away with that belief and I start believing in something else and I put energy into this new belief and I just see what happens? And so that's inquiring of truth. That's the process of dropping the illusion, dropping the maya, dropping beyond it, deep within the heart center, and then asking that truth be revealed. So it's this process of constantly going, truth be revealed. What is actually true? What is actually real in this moment? And then opening yourself up to receive the feedback from life that gives you insight into what is actually true and what is actually real and what is actually happening. And that's more entering into the consciousness and the realm and the reality of the soul. Because the soul, although it's not experiencing ultimate truth, the soul experiences more truth than you do in your individualized physical form. So it's going deep within, dropping right into the heart center and inquiring of life. So we've got our first step, which is realizing that you have some level of control over your reality. You have some say and you have some power over what you're experiencing. This has nothing to do with me and I choose not to respond and I choose not to partake. And then we have our second step, which is all about bringing it back to the self and going, what am I outputting? What am I trying to learn? What am I not getting? What can I learn from this situation? And it's all of that deep dive, that self-introspection. What's actually going on for me? What am I doing that's causing this reaction in life? So it's coming out of victim consciousness. And then we've got our third step or our third category, which is going, well, is what I'm perceiving and is what I'm experiencing and is what I'm understanding even the truth? What is truth? What is real? What is actually going on? And it's taking a deep dive beyond the phenomena. So even beyond energy that's being sent back and forth. It's going beyond the illusion of the stage that we're all on, because we're all actors on a stage having an experience together. It's moving beyond the stage itself to the production line. Well, who set this play up? What's the purpose of this play? Why are we having the experiences that we're having? What is true? What is real? And getting more in touch with the truth and the realities of life itself. So this is reconnecting you into the essence of life itself. And all three of these steps and all three of these things, because all three of these things, be it other people and their reality, be it your projections or your karma, or be it your illusions or your perceptions, your delusions and lenses about what life is, all three of these things are building your reality. And all three of these things require that you learn the lesson of self-control, self-mastery, self-insight, self-choice, self-empowerment. Because all three of these things require you to stop reacting to life, to stop seeing yourself and experiencing yourself as being a victim to life, a victim to circumstances, a victim to other people, and instead reclaiming your role as co-creator. Realizing and awakening to your role as co-creator. And as you reclaim that, as you take your big deep breath and you go, okay, I'm not getting caught up in the role that I'm playing anymore. I'm no longer believing myself to be the character in the script that I've been cast as. I now understand myself to be the actor that is playing the character. And as the actor, instead of just reading my lines from the script as dictated by life and other people, I'm going to choose my own lines. I'm going to freestyle. I'm going to respond in a way that feels real and feels true to me so that I can create a different experience and a different reality for myself. It's like changing the scenery, changing the scenario of the life stage that you find yourself on. You don't do it by changing the outside world, you do it by changing yourself and by responding in a different kind of way that causes life to go, didn't see that one coming. Let's do something different. Obviously, there's no point in continuing to give you the same experience because you just broke free of the illusion. You just broke out of the matrix a little bit. Okay, let's try something else. And then life will give you a new experience. You'll be scripted into a different part in the play. You'll get different lines in the play. You'll get met with different actors, with different characters, with different scenarios and situations. And then you've got to continue to remember that you're not the character that you're playing. You're the actor that's in the role, and you actually have a say. You actually have a choice. You're the one that's saying the lines. You get to choose what it is that you say. You get to choose whether you read the lines or not. You get to choose how you respond. You get to freestyle, and it becomes more of a freestyle event. And then, again, this moves us to our third step, which is when you as the actor go, okay, so I'm in this play. I'm in these scenarios, I'm freestyling, I'm aware and conscious of myself as the one that gets to choose, and I'm aware and conscious of the role that I play and my activity in the play and how I can change and alter things. But who set up the play? Who's producing the thing? Who's overseeing the thing? Who put this stage here? What's the truth of what's going on here? What's the purpose of it? What's the point of it all? And then you start to move more into the production line of things, and you realize that you're actually one of the producers in the play, or you are one with the producer of the play. And then you get to start working at causal level. And that's a whole other thing. That's something that all of humanity will eventually reawaken to and will eventually re-enter into and will evolve to. But that's going to take time. For you as the individual, the way that you start that process and you initiate that process is you're not a victim. You can't change other people. And those things that you can't change, accept them. Just let them be what they are. Stop trying desperately to change them because you make yourself miserable by doing it, and you get caught up in the back and forth phenomena of being a victim to life and feeling like you're out of control. So just stop doing that. Realize that the only thing that you can change is you and your reaction, your response, how you bring yourself and how you perceive life. So you come back to you. You consciously and deliberately choose what you partake of and what you don't partake of. Let other people have their experience. It's got nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. deep introspection. Is this none of my business, or is this the result, honestly, of something that I'm outputting and something that I'm projecting into my environment? And if it is, then take control of that and choose to project something different, something that is about love, something that is about growth, something that is about evolution out into the environment, and learn that you alter your environment by altering yourself and altering what you are outputting, what you are projecting, and what you are sending out. Reclaim the consequences of the choices that you have made. Reclaim the karma, process it through, make a new choice, and output new karma. Make new choices, send new energy out so that you can be met with the fruits of your fresh labors, of the new choices that you're making. And then go even deeper and sink all the way through and go, is what I'm perceiving even true? Is it the reality of things? Is it the final destination? And then ask, connect with something greater than yourself, connect deep into your heart center, connect with a higher part of you, connect in with life itself, connect in with the soul, and ask, truth be revealed. What is actually true? What is actually real? And when you get a taste and a sense of that, when you start to feel that, then you start to re-empower yourself to alter the conditions of your life. Again, not by altering anyone else, but by working consciously and deliberately at causal level. And if you can do that, you will change your life, you will change your experience of life, you will change your reality, and you're going to bring a lot of relief and opportunity for growth and evolution to the other people in your life as well. So life doesn't suddenly become more joyful. You become more able to perceive of the joy and to partake of the joy and to contribute to the joy that has always been here. Not because anything has changed, but through an effort and as a result of your own will, your own choices, and your deliberate wielding of your energy and through your activity. So it's an act of your will. It's the result of the choices that you're making. It's something that you're doing. Because it's all there. All the beauty is there. All the joy is there. Reality is there. The truth of what is there. The evolution is there. The love is there. The connection is there. The unity is there. It's all there. If you're not feeling it and you're not partaking of it and you're not privy to it, it's not because it's not there. It's because you haven't yet used your will to align yourself to and to partake of that version of reality, of the truth of reality. The truth is always the truth, but it's up to you how much of that truth you're perceiving, you're partaking of, and you're contributing and you're bringing. So rather than that being a damning thing, because I didn't just give you a solution that's going to automatically fix everything, that should be an empowering thing. It's all in your hands. It is already in your hands. You are already creating. You're already setting things in motion. You're already experiencing the fruits of your past labors. You are already experiencing the consequences of your beliefs or of your projections or what it is that you expect from life. All of that is already happening. It's just the nature of things. It's the reality of things. You can't get away from that. But what I'm doing, what I hope I'm doing here, is I'm giving you the keys to be able to get back consciously in the driver's seat, and to realize you've been in the driver's seat all along, but to gain control over the vehicle again. To gain control over the steering wheel and the gear stick and the clutch and the accelerator and the brake, and to drive the vehicle, to drive your life deliberately and consciously, and to empower yourself through that activity and through those choices. But it's a will-based thing. Can't be light and fluffy. Takes great confront, takes great and deep introspection. You've got to be very real with yourself. You've got to be willing to see harsh and brutal, but also clear and empowering and enlivening truths that you weren't perceiving of before. You've got to be able to say and acknowledge where you're wrong. because we're all wrong. We're all just wrong to varying degrees until we've achieved complete unity back to source and back to life itself, and we've been completely reabsorbed into all that is. We're all at various stages and states of being wrong. We're just learning how to be a little bit less wrong every day. So you've got to be willing to admit where you're wrong, and to see where you're wrong, and to want to see what the truth is, because you can't perceive of the truth until you perceive of and acknowledge and accept what isn't truth, what isn't real, and you let those things go, and you be willing to replace them with reality. So I find that empowering. I love knowing that I'm the creator of my own reality, and everything changed for me as I systematically woke up to that reality, and as I regained control over my reality, not by controlling everyone, by letting everyone go. You release everything, you release life. It's just like, oh, you just go and you be exactly how you are. It's okay, because I'm okay. Because I'm choosing how I respond. I choose what my reaction is. I choose how I feel about it. I choose if it affects me or not. I choose if I partake in it or not. And I choose how I choose. I choose how I perceive life. And I choose now to see the beauty in all things. I choose to experience joy. I choose to experience oneness. I choose to look for and to contribute love. I choose to be a part of. I choose to know that I'm one with nature. I choose to awaken to the God within, but not as a nebulous, airy fairy, meditate upon it and it'll come to me thing, as a conscious activity and choice. Through conscious and deliberate introspection and deep dives into the reality of all that is, and not being afraid to ask the hard questions, and not being afraid of being wrong and of getting it wrong, because I know that every time I realize that I'm wrong or I get something wrong, ultimately I'm going to realize more of what is true, what is real, and I'm going to become one with that. And that's a deeply satisfying and a deeply empowering thing, and it's really worth it. There's nothing else to me that's more important or more worth being one with the reality of life itself in all of its guises. And you do that by empowering yourself. You're not a victim. You can change your reality by changing you and your response to life. Okay.